Hello and welcome back to the Untouchaballs podcast. I know it's been a minute since you guys seen me, but I am Leo and this is Caden. Caden, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Max. How about yourself?
It feels good to be back. I know you and Dwyer have been holding it down the last couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
We've been doing some traveling. We were at Big 12 Football Media Day a couple weeks ago.
Check out at @LNR_4 on Twitter to see all that stuff.
Let them know.
All CU stuff.
KNGLNR4 on the TikTok and then LNR_4 on the IG. All of it's there. But we got some Big 12 football to talk about. Caden, we're doing our little over-under segment today. Picking a conference champion. Let the people know.
Yeah, I mean, we're about 5 weeks away from the start of college football week 0. So we're going to go in. We're going to do an episode a week with college, going through the Power 4 conferences. We're going to give win total over-unders for every single team in that conference, and then our conference champions. And then probably right around before week 0, we're going to do our stock market episode for college football. We'll probably do like a final. Actually, it'll probably be in the stock market episode when we do our champion prediction, playoff type of prediction as well. And then probably come start of August, we'll start getting NFL stuff your ways as well with win totals for that, over-unders, just player stuff, all that. So, yeah, we're getting into football season. So, yeah, kicking it off with your conference over here, Mex.
Yes, sir.
The one you know best in the Big 12. And how do you want to do this? You want to start at the top of the win totals or the bottom?
Let's start at the bottom and work our way up to the better teams. I think that would be the easiest way.
Okay, so if we're starting at the bottom, there's 2 teams tied at 4.5 wins for the season. Starting off is Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Caden, I actually got a chance to talk to Coach Mike Gundy there up in Big 12 Media Days. He said it's a rebuild year. His words, not mine. He acknowledged that this team's going to be struggling and they're trying to find their identity. And I think they brought in about 50 new players. I think they might have retained like only 20 from the season ago. They're going to be in a lot of help, Caden. I'd be very shocked if they won more than 4.5. I think 4 is a great line for potentially the amount of games they would win. So give me the under on that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take the under on this as well. I was looking at their schedule, kind of like you were saying, like a lot of roster turnover. As of right now, I only have them pegged for like 3 wins.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if they can
Yeah.
sneak one out. And both those is under. I don't think, I mean, even if good old Mike Gundy's even acknowledging it's a rebuild year, I think we'll listen to that and realize Oklahoma State, after you and me were maybe a little too high on them last year.
I loved them last year with Ollie Gordon.
We thought they were going to be nice last year. No, this year they're going to be bad, probably sitting right near the bottom of the conference.
Most definitely.
And the other team at 4.5 wins for the win total is Arizona. What do you think with that one?
Caden, this one's interesting because I think they're kind of right there on that fringe as well as potentially being a 4 to 5 to even 6 win team. This team's very interesting because we know what they've been able to do in the past with the star players they've had. And they still have Noah Fafita at quarterback. He's returning over. I think with having him as your set-in-stone starter gives you a little bit more comfortability. And even giving the 5 wins is hitting the over on the win total, right?
Yep.
So I think that I'm very skeptical to go the over here with the Zona Wildcats, but I do see a scenario where they do get to that kind of 5-ish wins, maybe even 6.
Yeah, once again, I'm with you. I think Arizona is going to go over this. You mentioned Noah Fafita. I think getting him another year in the system, just another year of playing actual college football is going to be big for him. Yes, you're losing your number 1 receiver in Tedroa McMillan. He'll have guys to be able to throw it to. I think he's still going to be able to sling the ball pretty well. And they got some easy games in their schedule.
Yes.
I mean, you start off Hawaii and Weber State. I think that's 2-0 right there. I think they beat Oklahoma State at home. Yeah. Possibly able to beat BYU at home.
That's going to be tough.
That one's going to be tough. Maybe Kansas at home, Cincinnati. Like, they play a lot of these lesser teams in the conference, and their out-of-conference games are not difficult.
Yeah,
so just kind of like what you were saying, I do have them over the 4.5. Next is a team you actually got to see in person last year. Down in Florida, we got UCF sitting at 5.5 wins.
Yeah, the return of Scott Foster, kid. And I think this is probably the biggest question mark team in the Big 12 for me because this team's had skill, but we saw so much of that skill go to the NFL last year with R.J. Harvey and K.J. Jefferson, and what they were able to do with their offensive attack is going to have to change. But new coach, new roster turnover, there are just so many question marks with this UCF teams that I think 5.5 is really a lot of wins, Caden. I'll be honest. I think I'm going to have to go with the under here. I kind of like them right at that 5 range, but it's going to be a little skeptical. Scott Foster's the big question mark here. How is his system going to evolve now that he's back in Orlando? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Scott Foster is probably going to be the kind of the X factor to see how far this team can go, what he's able to implement to this team. But you lose R.J. Harvey, you lose K.J. Jefferson. That's your 2 best offensive players last year. So that's now one thing. And yeah, I mean, they're out of conference games, kind of like I was saying with Arizona. They're easy. You get Jacksonville State, North Carolina A&T, but then North Carolina, you have to play K-State, Baylor on the road, Tech on the road, BYU on the road. Like,
Those are tough road.
they got a lot of tough road games. I mean, yeah, you get Oklahoma State at home, but right there, that's only, I think, 3 wins for sure. Maybe they end up at that 4 or 5 range. But yeah, you and me right here are 3 for 3 so far. I'm thinking, I don't think UCF, especially losing what they did on the offensive side of the ball, is be able to produce what they did, because they were a pretty explosive offensive attack last year
they were.
with what they were able to produce in the air, on the ground. You just don't have that same ability this year. You're not being able to utilize those same type of weapons that I think probably that 3-4 win range is going to be perfect for UCF. Another team at 5.5 wins, though, is the West Virginia Mountaineers, sitting right at that 5.5 as well.
This one's interesting, Caden, because they've been getting kind of a lot of attention this year. You know, a 5.5 is definitely a lot more than I thought they really would have been at. And again, this is one of the teams that kind of interests me at Media Day, because you didn't really learn too much, right, Caden? You were kind of just, I think West Virginia specifically is one of the teams that really didn't say too much. They only brought 3 players. They don't really have an identity of who's going to be starters and what the team's actually going to look like, Caden. So with those kind of question marks going in, I am going to have to go with the under in such a competitive conference, because even if they're at 5 wins, that's an okay season, and still finishing under the total.
Yeah. I mean, their schedule is very weird, where I think they could very easily start 3-0 on this schedule, maybe even 4-0. So that right there makes me start to lean the over. But then they don't get a lot of the lower tiers of the conference on their schedule. You're playing at Arizona State, against Texas Tech,
against Colorado,
against Colorado. Got to go Utah. That it's going to be close, but with this West Virginia team, I think they're going to be able to do enough, kind of come in, be able to just become bowl eligible. That's all.
Yeah,
I think they'll be able to do. I'm not thinking they'll get a 8-win season or nothing, but I think they might be a little 6-6 if they are able to win.
Fair.
Maybe beat like TCU at home and maybe Colorado as well, that you can see them maybe get to 7. But I do think they'll go over that 5.5, become a bowl eligible team. Just the way the schedule sets up, I think if they start the season right, they'll be able to hit the over pretty easily.
That's very, very possible, Caden. And, kind of looking at the schedule, you brought up a lot of good points with that non-conference slate. Seems like, these Big 12 teams don't like really.
They don't like the tough non-conference. Well, now that it comes to your Colorado Buffaloes, Max, they're sit at an even 6 right now on their win total.
They are, Caden, and when I looked at the schedule the first couple times, that's right around where I kind of see this, between 6 to 8 wins realistically for this Colorado team. Practice starts Monday. I'll be in attendance there, so then I'll kind of be able to give you guys a little more of my thoughts on what I think this team's shaping out to be. But haven't got to see them much during the summer. All I know is that the O-line's bigger and badder. They have a new strength and conditioning coach, Caden. The wide receiver core has been getting a lot of talk. All right, I'm telling you, we lost Travis Hunter, lost the other 3 guys to the NFL. You're right, Will Shepard, Jimmy Horn Jr., and DeJounte Wester. But they're bringing in a lot of new guys, and they still have Omarion Miller coming back. They still have Draylon Miller coming back. The entire running back room is returning. Some good returners on offensive line, Kate. I think this offense is still going to be very solid, and I think the defense is going to take another step. It's going to be just as good as it was, if not better than it was a year ago in the system. And I think for sure you got to take the over on wins. I see realistically, 6 to 8 wins for CU this year.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I think bringing in Caden Salter from the transfer portal was awesome for this team. I think he's a good quarterback.
I didn't even mention Caden.
As I was saying, I think he's a good college quarterback. We saw what he was able to do at Liberty the last couple of years. Now coming over to face obviously better competition, but I still think his dual threat ability is going to be able to play. Definitely going to be a more mobile quarterback than what Deion's used to with his son and Shador. Be able to run outside the pocket, design plays for Salter to get out and move. That just opens another element for this offense. I think, like you said, bringing back that whole running back, and we have Michael Welch still.
Yeah, Dallin Hayden, who's getting a lot of noise this offseason as well.
And then, you still got Jordan Seaton. Got a lot of these guys in the offensive line. I'm with you. I think Colorado, well, I don't know if they'll be competing for a conference title or anything. I do think the way this schedule sets up, the way this team sets up, you have Salter now quarterback.
Correct.
I think they'll be able to get over that win total, sit that 7-8 win range, kind of exactly like you were thinking.
Yeah, I think it's very realistic.
Next, we got the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Mm.
They are at 6.5 wins this year, Mex.
They haven't kind of surprised me as well, Caden. I know they're bringing back their quarterback, and they do kind of have some, a little less parity than some of these other teams that kind of know what they're getting. I just don't know how they compete and stack up in this conference, Caden. It's a very tough. What are their non-conference games? Kind of, we got some more.
You're
tough
home against Nebraska. That's
rough.
Probably a loss. Then you get to play a home against Bowling Green and a home against some random FCS school. So probably 2-1.
2-1 there, Caden, to start off. I just think it's going to be hard to get 4 wins from that point out in this conference. Just thinking about the teams that I think are better than Cincinnati. I think Colorado is going to be better than Cincinnati. I think Texas Tech. I think Kansas State. I think BYU. Just the way the wins are going to shape out, you aren't going to be able to get to that total, in my opinion. So I'm going to have to take the under there.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I don't have a lot of faith in this Cincinnati team. We saw them last year was their first year Big 12. Yeah. Didn't look great. I mean, they had some good games in there, but didn't look great. And they had moments. And I think that's kind of going to be like what we're going to see this year. Like they'll probably have some moments, maybe stay in some games that maybe should, maybe pull out a little bit of an upset here or there. I don't see them being a 7-8 win team like I was thinking with Colorado, like Correct. You were as well. Where 2-1 probably non-conference. They could lose at Kansas. I have them as a loss to Iowa State. UCF would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Oklahoma State, they probably win. I have them losing to Baylor, probably losing at Utah, at TCU. Like they don't. The schedule isn't too favorable for them in conference with their road games. Yeah. And then just the kind of the question marks with this roster. I think, under 6.5 is perfect for that team there with Cincinnati. Now, we got a couple other 6.5 win teams. Next is the TCU Horned Frogs at 6.5 as well.
Oh, that little half is going to get me, kid. Because, again, TCU is kind of that team like Colorado that I do realistically see around that 6 to 8 wins. They have, a pretty tough schedule. But at the same time, kid, and this team's, 2 years ago, they were as good as they were in that national championship run. I think we saw them kind of drop off a little bit the last couple of years, but I expect this year to be kind of a trend up year, Kate. And I think, the younger guys that they've been developing the last few years are finally up. They're ready to play. They got, good old, CU's old running back. Dylan Edwards still kicking, running back there. He's been, really been gearing up for what's supposed to be a good year for him. So I just think with all that being said, I could see them getting to 7, Caden. It's going to be hard in this Big 12, but I do see them being able to crack 7 right there realistically and hitting that over.
Yeah, this is going to be our second disagreement here where I don't like the schedule TCU has and just not sold on their roster really. That's but right. You have to start off at North Carolina. Then you get to play Abilene Christian should be a win. Then you have to play SMU. They still have Kelvin Jennings there at quarterback. Team. That could be a loss. At Arizona State, play Colorado, at Kansas State, Baylor, at West Virginia, TCU, at BYU, at Houston.
That's a horrible schedule, Kate. Oh my gosh,
dude!
I might have to go with you on that.
This is a brutal schedule for TCU.
That is a rough schedule for TCU.
They're getting a lot of the top dogs in the conference. You have 2 tough non-conference games.
That's so dirty because I see them right at 6 to 7, Caden. I really do. But I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna still take the over 7 wins.
I'm going the under. I think we'll see the Horned Frogs end with about 4 or 5 wins this year. This schedule ain't built for them. I don't think they're gonna be built for success this year.
Fair enough.
Now, how about your favorite college basketball team in the Houston Cougars? They're also sitting at 6.5 this year.
They are, Caden, but they have a tough schedule too, right? And I just don't know if Houston did enough in the offseason to really get past that 4 wins from a year ago. They really struggled. They were kind of one of the punching bag teams of the Big 12, Caden.
Yep.
I just don't know what they've done. I just really don't see where they've improved enough that they're going to be able to compete with these other higher level teams. I'm going to have to take the under on this win total.
Yeah, I think I'm with you here. We saw them last year, and Big 12 didn't look great. Like you said, they're kind of the punch bag, had some bad losses in conference play throughout the year. Didn't look great. And throughout the transfer portal, throughout recruiting, like you're saying, it doesn't seem like they did enough to take the next step, become a 3-win better team, especially
a
when
lot
you're
of
playing a
wins.
lot of the same
Yeah.
competition. Like, you're basically doubling your wins from last year. I don't think they made that much improvements to be that much better than they were last year. I think we'll probably see them maybe improve a little bit, say that 5-6 win range, but they're not going to get over, not become a 7+
I don't think so.
win college football team. Now, you were just talking about them, the BYU Cougars. They're also sitting at 6.5 wins here, man.
Oh, I hate this line, Caden, because they lost their quarterback, right? We
Yeah.
know the turmoil of the offseason.
Dude, Jake Retzlaff's now at Tulane.
Yeah.
Tulane might be nice this year,
They could
especially
be,
with Retzlaff at QB.
But that changes so much for BYU, Caden. The quarterback position is the most
I'm
viable
still
position for us.
He was going to get suspended 7 games because he decided to have a little fun before marriage. BYU's like, no. So he's like,
That's really cool.
He's like, screw this. Let's go to Tulane, have some fun down in New Orleans.
No, it's not. But yeah, kid, like that said, this one is so disgusting because it's right around 6 to 7 in my head. I think BYU with their coach is still going to be good enough to get to 7 wins, Caden. I just don't see them maybe getting more past that.
Yeah, this is weird because I feel like I've been taking a lot of unders so far.
Yeah, correct.
But I also don't think BYU is going to be too good, especially losing your quarterback who was a good quarterback. Jake Retzlaff's a good quarterback.
Yeah. We saw what he did in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, and hey, non-conference games are kind of easy, but actually, their conference games aren't bad.
I think 7's fine, kid.
7's fine, but I'm taking another under here in the conference. You have your biggest position, like the most important position, your quarterback. You still don't know who's going to be your quarterback. You just lost to is supposed to be one of your best players, if not your best player on your roster, because of a bunch of off the field stuff. So now I think there's a lot of stuff going on with that. They're not going to have the same juice as last year. I think this is going to be a little bit of a fall off year for the Cougars after being a very good and competitive team over the last handful of seasons. Now is when we move up here to 7.5 wins for these next couple of teams. Starting with the Baylor Bears.
Caden, I'm a little bit surprised that, the Baylor Bears are this high up on the list. They are, returning some key pieces. They got their quarterback.
Sawyer Robertson's nice.
He's returning back. And this was just a team that was supposed to be really good a year ago, right? They had high expectations a year ago, and they just found ways to lose, Caden. Unlike, teams that found ways to win in this Big 12, they found ways to lose. And, you look at their schedule, it is pretty tough still, Caden. And I don't know if that 7.5 wins is going to be feasible. I'm going to have to take the under here on the Baylor Bears.
Baylor is a team I do like this year. I'm opposite of you. I'm going to go the over. They got an interesting non-conference schedule. They're actually playing some opponents, unlike some of these other teams.
They want to be ranked.
Like home against Auburn to start the year, at SMU. Like, I think they'll probably split those first 2. And then you get in conference. They got some more favorable matchups here where you're at home against Arizona State. Can maybe pull something out there. You're at home against K-State. And then after that, you play a lot of the bottom feeders in the conference. You miss Tech, you miss Iowa State, and you're going to be home against UCF, Utah, play Arizona, you're going to play Houston. And I think we'll see Baylor kind of fighting for a spot in the conference championship game. I don't know if they'll reach that extent per se, but I think they'll be up there kind of fighting for a spot, get in that 8-9 win range this year, be one of the better teams in this conference.
Yeah.
Now also at 7.5 is the school that over the last couple of years has started to become a little bit more known for football. It's the Kansas Jayhawks.
Caden.
Jalen Daniels, not Jaden Daniels.
Jalen Daniels, you do got to like a lot here, Caden. And I did like what, Kansas had to say at, Big 12 Media Days. Because if you look at the end of their season, it started horrible.
Yeah.
But the way they finished last year, Caden, they really turned it around. And if you look on that offense and the way it was firing at the end of the season, you've got to be excited about this year. You've got to be excited about what this offense could finally put together and the games will be able to put together. But 7.5 is a lot. Oh, my. I don't know how this Big 12 is a stacked, Caden. But someone's got to put some wins together in this conference. I just don't know if they're going to be able to reach over 7.5. So I'm going to have to take the under here on the Kansas Jayhawks.
Yeah, looking at their schedule right here and kind of a little bit what I was doing before, I think they'll be right around at 6-7 wins where I could see them winning some good conference games, but I don't really see them beating Tech. Don't really see them beating K-State or Iowa State. Like, they play all 3 of those teams. I don't see that happening. I also think possibly they could lose to West Virginia early in the
interesting game.
season. You have to play at Missouri as one of your non-conference games. I think the schedule a little too tough, and Jalen Daniels has showed a lot of flashes over these last couple of years. But it's also, are we going to see him stay healthy for a full season, be able to actually be the quarterback of this team from week 1 through week 14, I guess, with the 2 byes?
Yeah.
That I don't know if that's going to happen, and just the rest of the roster, I don't know, is at that same ability as some of these other teams in the conference, like I mentioned, Tech, Iowa State, even Baylor, I think, is better built to succeed in this conference. That I don't see Kansas getting over that 7.5 wins this year.
Yeah.
Now we go to the Iowa State Cyclones, also sitting at 7.5 wins.
Yeah, Caden, I think this one for me is kind of the first where I'm like super confident on the over. I really like this Iowa State team a year ago. They just do smash mouth. Big 12 football, Caden, they know how to play. And I think they're going to be pissed off about the way that season finished out, Caden, because they should have, won a Big 12 championship. Yeah. That's what it was kind of looking like all season long. They were rocking. They were rolling. I think they're going to learn from those mistakes, returning their quarterback as well, Caden. Yep. They're going to come back. I think they're going to be firing it, and I like them to get around like 8-9 wins.
Yeah, I'm with you, but not as confident as you. Like, I do think we will see them go over this 7.5, be up there in this conference. I'm just not as sold on Rocco Becht as maybe a lot of other people are, quarterback for Iowa State.
Yeah, that's fair.
But even still with that, their offense was able to do a lot of very good things last year. Like you're saying, run, smash mouth, put up some big points in games, win some tough games last year. I think they'll be able to follow that up this year, win some of these tough conference games they have some pretty easy out-of-conference schedule. They're also it's them. They get to play a conference game week 0 because it's them at K-State
in Ireland.
In Dublin, Ireland, which that might be an awesome game.
Pop-Tarts Bowl.
I think that'll be an awesome game. But
hey, put up a picture of me with the Pop-Tarts trophy right here.
Right here, Mex with the Pop-Tarts.
Let's go.
Yeah, I do think they will be above the 7.5, even if I'm not as high on Rocco Becht as some people. I think just the culmination of this whole roster, what they were able to show last year, kind of build on it going into this year. I think Iowa State's in for a good season.
Yes.
Now we got 3 teams left. All three of them sitting at 8.5 wins for the season. We're going to start it off with the ASU Sun Devils, your Big 12 champions from last year.
Caden, this team's still nice, and they still got Kenny Dillingham, who seems to be just as
got Sam Levitt at quarterback,
just as fired up with Sam Levitt. You get those two coming back for another season. It's going to be tough to beat this ASU team, Caden. They do have a game that I'm highly anticipated to watch on November 22nd at Colorado against Folsom Field. I think that's going to be one of the pivotal games of the year. I expect that to be a Big 12 game of the week.
Or Texas Tech at ASU October 18th. That could be a banger game.
Both of those are going to be banger, right, for these ASU Sun Devils. I like them, Caden, but I feel like people are going to not underestimate them this year. They're going to get everyone's best game. Knowing that, I really see them getting about to 8 or 9. So I'm going to have to, play devil's advocate and give them the under here at 8 wins.
I like me the Sun Devils.
I know you do.
I do. I think this team will either be competing for they're one of my teams I think will be in the conference championship game come season end. Like the way their schedule lines up, I like this team. I think Sam Levitt's one of the better quarterbacks we have in college football. Kenny Dillingham's definitely a very good coach.
Yeah, I'm going over. I can't even do that.
I mean,
it's just too good. When you talk about Kenny Dillingham and Sam Levitt together, another offseason of growth.
But you get Tech at home. Iowa State will be a tough game, but you get West Virginia at home, Arizona. It's a tougher schedule than maybe some other teams, but this is also one of the best teams in the conference for a reason. I think they'll be able to build on what they did last year and be competing for a conference championship come season's end.
Yep. As much as I want to dig on Ryan Doucette and Little Bench, the Sun Devils can play ball, man.
Sun Devils can play ball. Now we got the number 1 recruiting class. Not recruiting class. The number 1 transfer portal class. Texas Tech was shelling out money this offseason to make this roster better. Also sitting at 8.5.
Jerry Maguire got the money, man. He got the money.
He got the money.
That was the talk of Big 12 media days. But does money actually mean it? The SEC has proved, yes, King. I'm smashing the over on this win total. You got to get the players. And not only that, Texas Tech's D-line's disgusting.
Yeah.
Their size I mean, I forget the name of the D tackle that was there at Media Day, Caden.
Just massive.
Lord, it's going to take about 3 linemen just to block him. You're going to need center and 2 guards just to get moving on that big boy. I like this Texas Tech team a lot, Caden. I do see them at the end of the year, competing for a Big 12 championship. They're going to be up there with, the Arizona States, with the Kansas States, with the Colorados. It's going to be good. It's going to be exciting.
This one's very tough with me because there's some games, start of their schedule, start of their season, I think's very easy.
Yeah.
Arkansas Pine Bluff, Kent State, Oregon State.
Arkansas could be a trap game.
Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Oh, my bad.
Not Arkansas. Arkansas Pine Bluff. Yeah. Kent State, Oregon State, and then Utah, Houston.
Like 5. That's 5-0 to start the season.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't know how confident I am with the rest of the schedule.
That's fair, because this is also one of the teams that have the highest expectations, but also could be the biggest collapsing.
Yes.
Putting so much eggs in the transfer portal basket.
Yeah, and such a new roster. A lot of these guys have not been playing with each other before.
Together. Are they going to like the coaching staff? Are they going to gel?
Exactly.
Who are they going to be fighting over money, Caden? Like some people, I get more than you. Why are you playing more than me? Stuff like there's a lot.
We can see some weird stuff going in Tech, and I just think the back end of their schedule is tough after a very easy start to the year. 8.5. Like that's a tough number with 8.5.
I will say this: Deion Sanders said, and a lot of coaches agreed, that whoever is playing in the championship is probably only going to have 2 losses this year.
I would agree.
It's going to be tough,
and I don't think Texas Tech is only going to have 2 losses this year. 3 is close. I think
they're right.
9-3, 8-4 is close. It's just with all the question marks, like you were saying, how is this team going to gel? Are they going to react to the coaching staff well? I'm taking the under on the Red Raiders. I don't hate it. They're going to be maybe as good as some of these other people are saying. This leads us with the final team, the Kansas State Wildcats, also sitting at that 8.5 win total, Max.
Caden, this is one of the teams. Avery Johnson's getting a lot of noise. You hear Heisman conversations with his name this offseason. It's going to be interesting, Caden. I'm just one of those people who's just not a fan of Kansas State. I don't know if I saw something different last year. I think they're a good team. They found ways to win games. I just think in the clutchest moments, they're a team that's not going to show up. I don't know if I trust Avery Johnson with the game on the line, needing to go get down and get you a win, Caden. When it comes down to those moments, give me the under on, I think, a move that'll be surprising to a lot of people, because I know a lot of people are really high on this Kansas State team.
I am one of those people.
Yeah.
Even though, like you say, Avery Johnson, I think he's going to take a step up this year, another year in that K-State system, another year just of development improvement within that coaching staff. The one thing with him is he needs to limit the turnovers.
Yeah.
There was too many times last year where they could have won these games late, and we saw him make some of the wrong decisions, kind of just the immature plays at that time. Like I think we're going to see him mature more here, become one of the better, if not the best quarterback in the conference this season. Between him probably and Sam Levitt in my eyes, even though I'm very high on Caden Salter, even though he's only ever played.
Be high on Caden Salter. I'm high on him too.
I don't care about CU football at all, but I love Caden Salter.
Let him know, Ben. Let him know.
I think Caden Salter is going to be nice for that program.
I think so.
But even with K-State, I think they will
little
be.
Juju Lewis trick plays mixed in.
Ooh.
Double pass.
Like
right here first.
I do think, though, we see K-State end the season 10, 11 wins, be at the top of this conference, fighting for a conference championship. And that leads us, Max.
Yes, it does.
We're talking about the conference. Give us who you think the 2 teams who will be in it and who you have coming out on top and making the college football playoff as the auto bid.
Caden, this one's going to be really tough, because there is a world where I truly do see the Colorado Buffaloes making it to this conference game. But realistically, haven't seen them play. There are too many question marks. I'm going to go out and say I do think we see an Iowa State versus ASU Big 12 championship game. I think, Tech and
little
Kansas
rematch
State,
of last year.
Oh, that was a game last year. Shit.
But it was a blowout.
Yeah, but I do think that, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Colorado are all going to be right there. Kind of even, potentially like your Kansases, your
Baylor Bears.
Your Baylor Bears, exactly right around. This is a deep conference. When you look at those top, 6 teams I just mentioned, any single one of those could be in the championship game this year. Any single one. I believe that.
I don't believe Kansas.
Not Kansas.
I don't believe Kansas.
Well, not Kansas. Okay, we'll exclude Kansas. Well, no, I'm not going to exclude Kansas.
I'm going to exclude that. I don't.
Right? But at the end of the day, I just think it's going to be very hard to step in the way of Kenny Dillingham and ASU, Caden, and what they want to do. When you return a quarterback like that and you lose the way they lost, Caden, when you were right there, you were just a few plays away.
Yeah.
You're that like I don't know how to explain losing like that, Caden. Someone who's never lost in like deep playoff runs like that, but it motivates you unlike anything else. I know for a fact Kenny Dillingham has not slept more than 3 hours his entire offseason. He's scheming. He's they're up all night.
Oh yeah.
I think the Sun Devils have a chance to win this conference.
The Sun Devils, I think, will be right up there competing for this conference championship as well. I think they'll be facing off against K-State, Avery Johnson and company. I think Iowa State and Baylor would be my next two closest,
All right.
with like the CU kind of Tech that tier right below.
3. Cool.
But I think we're going to see Avery Johnson against Sam Levitt in the conference championship.
That's a hell of a game.
And kind of the concerns I was just saying with Avery Johnson, where I think they'll be able to kind of roll through the regular season and like 10-2, 11-1. I think come conference championship, when you're getting down to the nitty gritty of the game where you really need to come in, show up and be big, I think that's when we do see kind of Avery Johnson get exploited a little bit. That I'm with you. I didn't know if we were going to be on the same boat here, but I also have Arizona State repeating as Big 12 champs. I think we've said a lot, but that combination of Kenny Dillingham at the coach, Sam Levitt at QB, is be able to propel them over the top here, win the conference, win the Big 12, kind of become an auto bid for the 12-team playoff this year.
It is. All I know is I'm going to be very excited to watch a lot of Big 12 football this year, Caden. Going to have a nice, comfortable chair up in the press box for it this year.
For all the CU games.
We're going to be at Houston. We're going to have all kinds of content for you guys. But thank you all for listening to this episode. Check out Weekly. We're going to have the rest of the Power 4, some other stuff before the season starts. Caden, what should these people do before?
Yeah, make sure you guys like this video. If you did enjoy, comment down below. Who do you think is going to come out on top in the Big 12 conference this year? Do you agree or disagree with any of our picks throughout this episode? Make sure to turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload of the Untouchaballs podcast. And if you guys haven't yet, check out an interview we did last week with John Boy Media's Ryan Cohen. Great interview. He's a great guy. Check that out if you haven't yet. And share this with your friends, family, strangers, neighbors, anything like that.
Most definitely. We thank you all for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll see you all next time.